Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of the day of the week of the month of the year, whatever we're on. I don't know, I am lost. The days, the weeks, the hours, minutes and everything are just flying by at the minute. I just don't know what's going on. So, we all know there's been a couple of episodes missing. I am going to do them. So this one will go out tonight whenever you are listening, so Wednesday night, and then I'm going to do, my plan was, if anybody's seen my social media last week, my plan was to do 2 last week. That didn't happen, and I'll tell you that's the reason why in a minute. Then I was going to put 2 out yesterday, but my fatigue was really bad. I slept all day. So the plan now is to put 1 out today and 2 out tomorrow. Fingers crossed, because my plans aren't planning at the minute. So the reason we were able last week is my car broke down again. So we were in a mad dash. We had loads going on. We've had loads going on the last few weeks, to be fair, and I can't even remember the last thing I told you. But my son's exam results and everything came in, and we were trying to deal with college and to and fro from that. Then last week we went to go and see one of my friends, Ainsley. On the way back, my car decided the engine management light came on, everything was flashing, it was losing power again, it was chugging, it was just everything apart from driving. So we just thought, let's see how it goes over the next couple of days. The next day I went to try and drive it because my son had an induction day at college. Engine management light was still on when I turned the engine on, so we did not drive it. Then I decided that day, as I do with most things, everything's spur of the moment with me. I'm not driving that car ever again. I'm going to buy a new car. Now we all know I've been trying to get a new car. Well, not trying, hoping to get a new car later this year or next year, but I was wanting to get a house first. So obviously that's went back to front. So we got the car. We were dealing with that between Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember what day it was, until Friday. Picked up the car on Friday. Then we were playing catch up for everything we never done for the days that we were dealing with it, because obviously it was a trade-in and it was all financed and everything, so we were dealing with finance, dealing with car dealerships, dealing with loads of different people. So I was constantly on the phone or online last week, which meant nothing really got done. Nothing. I just don't even know anymore. So this week we're trying to get back into some kind of normality, and then next week we start college. Well, I don't, my son does. So we now have a new car, a reliable car, a newer car, a much bigger car, which is good because we wanted a bigger car. It's also automatic, which is good because obviously my body's falling apart. And also, what else? Oh, I feel like I'm driving a school bus, not because there's loads of kids in it, just because of the size compared to the car I had before. So I had a Ford Ka, or K, however you pronounce it previously, and this time I've got a Ford Kuga. So yeah, there's quite a difference in size. And obviously it's automatic. I still keep going to press my clutch to change gears. It's keyless. I keep going to take my key out, turn it off at the engine with the key, and obviously, so I'm still trying to get used to it, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Another wee update is anybody that is interested in booking with anything, my hours will slightly be changing next week. Still working every day, still working the same hours, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, I can do face-to-face, online, over the phone appointments. Thursday, Friday is solely going to be my 2 days for online only, or calls and social media, because that's the days my son's going to be at college, and if you know, he has his own struggles. If you don't know, he has his own struggles, should I say. So I need to, until he settles in, that's what my hours are going to be working hours are still going to be the same. It's going to look a bit different. Only 2 days. 2 days I won't be offering any face-to-face appointments, but that's just, it may be short time, it may be long term, we don't know, we just play it by ear. So yeah, I think that's everything I need to update you on. I hope you have all been enjoying whatever weather you have been getting. I also had an ear infection. Did I tell you that? I think I told you that. An ear infection, throat infection. I did, I think. And I think my ear infection might be back again. So that's great. But yeah, there's not, apart from stressing about cars and children and everything else, there's not really much else been happening. I mean, I think there is something I was going to tell you and I can't remember what it is. That's that menopause brain. I may think it before the episode ends and I may not, and if I don't, I'll tell you somewhere when I remember. So today's topic, we are going to talk about teenage pregnancies. I think it's something we need to talk about more and not kind of brush under the carpet and think that it will never happen within your family. We need to stop looking at it as if it's a disease or something bad. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it doesn't make the two potential parents, bad people. It's just unfortunate the way the circumstance has ended or come to, however you want to describe it. So first of all, it doesn't matter how many sex talks you have with your kids. It doesn't matter how much you tell them about protection. It doesn't matter how much knowledge they give them. Nobody can tell me that they've never had that one time where they didn't use protection. At least one time, should I say. We all get caught in the moment at some point. But also, you can't say, oh, that didn't happen in my day, or anything like that, because that was your day. This is now. That was then. This is now. Things are different nowadays. Sex is spoken about more openly nowadays. It's everywhere you look at, everybody's talking about it, doing it, watching it, whatever. You've got everybody's talking about OnlyFans, everybody's talking about certain people in certain industries. I don't want to name anybody because I'm not trying to give them bad press or anything, and I'm not trying to blame them because it's really nobody's fault. But because people do talk about it more, because we've got social media, and because it is everywhere, children, teenagers, whoever, even adults are inquisitive. They want to try new things. They want to see what all the fuss is about. They want to get it over and done with. There's many reasons why they choose to do it. They may think they're in love. They may be in love. Listen, I know people that have been in a relationship from when they were 13, 14 years old when we were at school, and we're now in our mid-40s and they're still together. They've got multiple children and they're still happily in love. So it can work out. Not saying it always works out because that wouldn't be realistic, but it can do. We also need to stop the blame game, and what I mean by that is, oh, boys are only after one thing, or girls shouldn't be doing that, girls shouldn't be sleeping about, boys are just perverts, all these kind of things. We need to stop that because that's not always the case. Yeah, boys, especially teenage boys, they have hormones raging through their bodies. So do girls. And we also need to stop, and we're obviously talking about teenagers just now, but this actually could be said about all females of all ages. We need to stop this whole boys can sleep with however many girls they want. Girls are only allowed to sleep with somebody when they're married, or they are and using derogative words to describe them. Girls can enjoy sex. Girls can choose to end a relationship that they've been sexually active in and start a new one and be sexually active in that one doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a dirty person. It doesn't make them anything bad. Why do we say it's okay for boys, not okay for girls? Everybody has needs. Everybody can enjoy sex if they want. Some people enjoy it, some people don't. And that's their choice. It can be due to an experience, it could be they just genuinely don't enjoy it, or they love it, or whatever else. Some people have a high sex drive, some people have a low sex drive, and you can't say that's only in adulthood, because as a teen you can have that as well. I think it's more about making sure that your child, whatever, feels comfortable enough to come and speak to you, because if they do have sex and it turns out it's been unprotected, especially your daughter, then they can at least go to get the morning after pill, and they've got somebody that will support them to go with them if they want to do that. You cannot force anybody to do anything. But again, if it's your son, it's not just about pregnancy either. It's about making sure they know about STIs, STDs, getting checked regular once you're sexually active, especially if you have not used protection, i.e. a condom, or if your daughter does feel ready, making sure she's doubly protected by getting her on the pill or whatever contraception she wants to use if she chooses. Again, you can't force, but it's making sure you're coming armed with all the knowledge, making sure you're coming across sympathetic, empathetic, and on their level, rather than I'm your parent and you will listen to me. I am your mother, you'll listen to me. So that's my first song for you for the night. I mean, I don't plan these things, they just happen. You must be thrilled because you haven't heard it for a while. But yeah, and also we need to stop saying that teenage parents, because I'm not just talking about teenage mums, I'm also talking about teenage dads. We need to stop saying that, oh, you'll never be able to manage, you'll not cope, blah blah blah. I know people who have had teenage pregnancies. They did have their children. Now I know somebody as young as 14, almost 15, who had a baby. I was 19 personally, but they are some of the best parents I have ever met. Some parents that are a lot older, maybe some of the worst parents you'll ever meet. So it's not about age, it's about that person's bond with their child, that person wanting to be a parent and not being forced into it. Because the other thing you've got to think about is there's some people out there who don't agree with termination. Now, I'm not going to give my stance on that because that's not what this is about, and my beliefs are not someone else's beliefs, so I would never force my beliefs on anybody else. I mean, I think deep down it's down to the person who's pregnant or the couple who are pregnant. It's down to them to make that decision. So if your daughter or if your son comes in and says, I'm going to be a mum or I'm going to be a dad, and your first thought is to say to them, right, we're going down the clinic to get this pregnancy terminated, that's not the way to go about it. It's their baby, it's the girl's body, and you need to ask them what they want and take them to the right people to talk to them, to give them all the information again, to guide them through all their options. Because if you try and force somebody to terminate a pregnancy, that could essentially end your relationship with that person, especially if they didn't want to terminate the pregnancy. But at the same time, if somebody does want to terminate the pregnancy and you're saying, don't you dare, and start calling them things like murderer or whatever else, which I have known people to be accused of, that's not the right thing either, because again, their pregnancy, girl's body, their decision. So I think essentially the main focus has got to be ensuring that you have an open relationship with your children where they know they can come and talk to you about anything, whether it's before the situation or after. Making sure that they can rely on you without being judged. Making sure, now it's not just about what comes out your mouth, it's also about your facial reactions. And of course, yeah, if your teenager does come in and say, I'm going to be a parent, then more deep down, you know, you're going to be maybe a bit upset, a bit gutted, not because there's a baby coming, but because your hopes and dreams for them to live whatever kind of life, are going to have whatever kind of career, is potentially on hold. Now, I'm not going to say it's over, because it doesn't have to be. They can still fulfill all their dreams. It just might take a little longer, and they might need to take a detour, and that's absolutely fine. Detours are okay, and sometimes the detour takes them on a much better path. Sometimes they find a different way to do things, and sometimes they find ways just to find happiness, I suppose. Find their happiness. I know personally, like I say, I just turned 19 when I fell pregnant. It was a couple of months after my 19th birthday, and then I became a single parent, and me personally, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I've said it many times, the only thing I ever wanted in life was to be a mum. But it also brought me a lot of joy, a lot of different things as well, and I suppose helped me in some ways, because I think if I hadn't had my first child when I did, I potentially was going down another path that was never going to end well. No, I wasn't like a drug addict or anything like that, but I was partying hard. I was partying at least 4 or 5 nights a week. I still went to work all the days I was supposed to go to work. I still done everything I was supposed to do, but I partied, and I think if I didn't stop partying at that point, my body might have kind of gave up somewhere along the line, if that makes sense. I don't know, we'll never know, but I do think for me personally, it helped me in a lot of ways. It came with some negatives, but that's personal, and that's nothing to do with actually being pregnant. I got to see some people in a different light, and I'm not talking about the father, I'm just talking about people that were in my life at the time. Still to an extent are, maybe some family, maybe some friends, whoever. It got me through some situations. It took me back to it. Just the same as anybody's going to get. I've got a fly on my mic. Sorry, the fly's gone now. Yeah, just like anybody who, whether it's your first pregnancy or your last pregnancy or pregnancies in between, there's always going to be something you learn from it. There's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, there's going to be whatever times. But I think the one thing we can all agree on is to be there 100% for your child, you need to be happy. You need to have a good relationship with them as well. And I think that starts from the offset. I've been very lucky with both my boys. The three of us have an amazing relationship together. And there's never really any fighting in this house, thankfully. We've got quite a good wee thing going in this house. So they do their thing, and I really only see my boys when they want fed. I'm at that stage in life. We'll just wait for the grandkids to come. My son, one's 26, one's almost 19, but I think that's going to be a long while off if it ever happens. But yeah, just make sure you're not forcing your opinions on people. Ask questions rather than telling the person how they should feel or what they should do. Ask them how you can help. Sit and make plans with them. Sit and look at the pros and the cons. Obviously you need to explain the whole financial thing with them, but let them know that you're going to be there for them. If they're still in education, look into, if they do decide to have the baby, how education's going to continue in your area. If they've got a plan for a career, how's that going to pan out if they do decide to have the baby. Now, just remember that it doesn't stop you from going to college or university, because a lot of colleges and universities do have creche, nursery, whatever you want to call it, within their building or close by that's linked to. So you've got that option. They maybe need to stay with you for a while until they get on their feet or until they're a bit older, depending what age they are. But essentially, it's about everybody coming together and doing what's right for the teenagers who, or whoever who is pregnant, expecting a baby, and if they do go ahead with the pregnancy, also being there for the baby as well. Which, listen, any baby's a blessing. It's just how you see the situation and how you deal with it. And it's so easy to just fly off the handle and start name calling and whatever else. But just don't be that judgmental parent, because that's how you lose your child and that's how they go down the wrong path. That's how things can then go wrong for at least a few years, if not longer. So try be the reliable parent that they can come to. Let them know that you're always there for them. Let them know that there's different options. Like I said, there's obviously continuing with the pregnancy. So if they do continue with it, how's that going to look? Make a plan. Sit and do budgets. Sit and do plans for living arrangements. Do plans for getting to school or college or university. Potential apprenticeships as well. There's all these different things. Like, you can go and speak to the job centre in places like that, or your local government, depending where you are in the world, to see if there would be any benefits to help them in the short term or long term, while they continue their studies, or if they go on to do an apprenticeship or anything like that, or if they do go into work but maybe on a low wage. Look into all these things before actually making a decision. Don't just say you can't afford it, you can't do this, you can't do that, because how do you know they can't if they haven't tried? And if it does get to the point where they're struggling, step in and help any way you can, whether it's like just bathing the baby while they do homework or something like that, making the dinner while they bath the baby, and then they can do the homework when baby goes to bed. Like, look at it from a different angle rather than just saying you won't cope, you're too young, you can't do this, you can't do that, because we all know how much a teenager can dig their heels in. I'm sorry, I do not want to be the person arguing with a teenager ever in my life. And not being sexist here, because obviously I'm female, but especially not a female teenager, because I know how stubborn I was, still am, and I would not have wanted to be the parent who was arguing with me. I tell you that for nothing. So that's if you continue with the pregnancy. You've also got termination, where it speaks for itself, ending the pregnancy, and then if they do end the pregnancy, let's look at contraception so that you don't get in the same situation anytime soon. But you've also got to think of the mental toll that will take on a child or teenager, any person at all. That has a huge impact on them, and some people regret it. Some people can what's the word I'm looking for? My menopause brain has kicked in. They can never forgive themselves for doing it, and some people, they can just go on with their life, and not saying they forget about it, but they can still go on, just carry on from however many days after. You've also got the adoption side of things, because there's many people out there who can't have their own babies and would absolutely love it. But again, that's a huge mental toll on anybody, regardless of your age, because 1, you're going through the full pregnancy. 2, they're giving birth, which is a huge impact on anybody, regardless of age. And then you're handing your baby over and you're thinking about that baby every day for the rest of your life, and that's something that you can't force somebody to do. Again, it's got to be their decision. They could potentially ask social work, social care, whatever, for a bit of help, and maybe foster the baby out for a little bit just until they get on their feet. But again, if you've got a good family round about them, they maybe wouldn't need that. You also need to explain the whole sleep deprivation, the toll it takes on, or can take on, your body, especially a body that's still developing and still growing. It will have a huge impact. A lot of girls, including myself, absolutely hate their body after having a baby, because your body changes so much. And I think maybe the fact that I was on my own didn't help that. I genuinely believe that, but that's just me. I'm not saying that's what it's like for everybody. That's me personally. I think maybe if I had a partner who was supportive and whatever else, I might have felt different about my body. But I don't know, because I wasn't in that position, not being in that position, so I can't say that 100%. But I think just the whole point I wanted to put out there was to stop making girls feel as if they're dirty. Stop making girls feel as if they don't deserve happiness or whatever because they've had sex, as if it's a dirty word, and it's something that nobody does. No other female in this world has ever had sex. We're not in the dark ages. Like I said, teenagers get inquisitive about many things, and sex is one of them. And maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Everybody wants to be loved as well, and it doesn't matter what age you are, and whether it's you want your family to love you, your friends to love you, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend to love you. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to feel that happiness, and we all have dreams. We all dream about our happy ever after or whatever else. So let's just stop making boys think that they're the only people that are allowed to go about and spread their oats, or whatever you want to call it, like putting it about, if you want to say that, because we all describe it different ways. It's not about putting it about, it's about enjoying something that you like. If you enjoy sex, as long as you're being careful, you can have sex. Now, I'm not talking about teenagers here, I'm just talking about the people that are listening, like the adults. I mean, obviously teenagers can, but there's legalities there and everything else, and that's the legal side of it is there for a reason. But see, if your children are under 16 and they fall pregnant, please do not start, I'm going to kick his head in, I'm going to go to the police, I'm going to this, I'm going to that. Just be there for them, because this is the reason we see so many people and so many children who then develop mental health struggles down the line, or need a counsellor, need a psychologist, need a psychiatrist, need a CPN or whatever else, is because they don't get any support, or their things are thrown in their face. Everything's vicious and nothing's just having a chat and being supportive. So let's forget about how things worked in 1953 or whatever year you were born, and let's remember we're in 2025, the year where everybody is equal we are all humans. Regardless of whether you are male or female, you can enjoy life to the full. You can enjoy every part of life if you want. You can pick whatever career you want, regardless of unless you actually want to be a male model and you're a female, you would need to be a female model. But you get what I'm saying here. Like, let's just treat, because everybody matures different at different rates as well. So your 15-year-old may be more mature than your next door neighbour's 18-year-old. Your 18-year-old might be more mature than your next door neighbour's blooming 40-year-old husband. So let's just take each person as they are. Let's stop with the you don't do that's not how girls behave, and that's boys should be doing this and boys should be the macho man and everything else. Stop putting more on these young people's shoulders than what they need. Let's stop bringing them down and putting pressure on them, and stop making decisions for them, because they're very capable of making decisions for themselves. And you would be surprised at how well teenagers cope in tricky situations. Now, I'm not saying this in the way that people might take it. People might think that I'm pro-teenage pregnancy and whatever else. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just asking you to be the person that they can come to and rely on without being fearful and without being told what their next move will be, what their decision has to be. Listen to them, listen to what they're saying, because you'll probably find that most of them have sat and researched things. Not all of them, but some of them, most of them potentially, will have researched everything to do with it before they've even came and spoke to you, because they've been absolutely terrified and they want to come with all the knowledge. Some might come to you as soon as they find out because they're absolutely terrified. And again, that could be any age. Any of us could be terrified. You could be terrified when you're 35 if you're having your first baby. It's the unknown and walking in almost with a blindfold on because you've never done it before. Just don't judge them on having sex. Don't lecture them about having sex. Just let them talk. Let them say what they've got to say. Ask them if they want to go and speak to somebody out with the family for advice, because there's many people out there who will speak to them. You've got your GP, you've got midwives, you've got family planning centres, you've got all these different places that you can take them to, and they're well equipped with the knowledge. And whether they want you to be in that appointment or not is up to them. So I hope that doesn't sound too much like a lecture, but I've been watching, I'd seen a young girl, actually a young couple, they're both 15, 16, something like that, and they don't live in the UK, they live out with the UK, but they had a baby, and I think eventually, I don't know if it was straight away, but they've been quite well supported by their families, but they're doing amazing. But again, I don't think it's necessarily about your age, whether you'll be a good parent or not. If you're going to be a good parent, you're going to be a good parent, and if you're not, you're not. We all see in the news older people, younger people, whatever age. There's every age under the sun that's been a bad parent, but there's also every age under the sun that's been an amazing parent. So let's not judge people on age. I think older generations can be quite bad for that, judging young ones. And I don't mean older as in like, I mean older. The elderly can be quite, and I think they forget they were that age at some point. And potentially in their day a 16-year-old pregnant was the norm. Because if I think back to like maybe my gran or my great gran's generation, 16, 15 would have been the norm for getting married, settling down, having a baby, starting your family, getting a house and whatever else. And obviously as the generations go on, as the years go on, we find new things to enjoy, like going to nightclubs, getting a career, travelling the world, doing all different things. Females actually getting to vote, females driving. I mean, who knew females would actually be allowed to drive? Do you know what I mean? Like these different things. Female can go to war now within the army. So everything's evolving, and I think some people forget to evolve with the world, with life. We all need to move on and enjoy everything together, whether that's enjoying holidays together or enjoying family additions together. Yes, that's all I'm saying on that. But if anybody does have any questions or worried about anything, then you can write in, or you can phone or contact me, and I'll help as much as I can. And if I can't help, I'll direct you in the right direction to seek out help wherever you are in the world. So yes, now I've got a list, but it's not beside me at the minute for the next 2 episodes, so I can't even tell you what they are. It's in my bag. I wrote it last week when I was sitting waiting for my son coming out of his college induction. I wrote a few different new topics to talk about. So they should be tomorrow. What else is coming? I don't know. Lymphatic drainage is this month. It's not here yet. It should be here before the end of the month. Again, everything's went up in the air because of this car situation. I mean, I've not even looked for a house properly for the last week either, because of the car situation. And obviously I'm having my ear infection, my throat infection, got a few other health problems going on just now as well. So I've got a check up with the doctor on Monday. I got a text today asking if I still want my, what was it? I think it's a scan, an ultrasound scan, yeah. And you know, I'm waiting for that many appointments at the minute. I'm sitting, I'm going, I can't remember what that scan's for, but I'm sure it's for like my pelvis area. But again, I don't know. It could be for my back frozen. No, it's not for my back. I know it's not for my back because that's about the one thing I've not been to the doctor about. Probably the only part of my body. I mean, it is sore, but my back's been sore for like 30 years, so we just roll with that one. But I've not spoke to the doctor about that, so I don't know. I'm sure it's to do with something to do with my stomach. But I'll find out when I go, won't I? When they tell me I'm here to scan your ankle or something, and I'll be like, oh really? I didn't know I was here for that. We've got some nice weather just now, which is quite good. I'm trying to talk my son into shopping for clothes for starting college, but one is a teenager and two he has sensory issues, so he's like, why do I need my clothes? It's just nice. It's nice to have new things, and he's like, but why? How do you deal with that? Like, really? Come on. So we managed to get out, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we got a few things. We've managed to order a couple of things online, but it's really hard to order anything online because of sensory issues. So I've got all that. Yeah, my house is just upside down, back to front and round it. If I could just tip my house upside down and start again, I would, but not in this house. Oh, it's 10. You think you're getting 10 steps forward, and then you take 100 going back the way again, and you're like, really? Oh, if anybody is within sort of Glasgow, North Lanarkshire, South Lanarkshire, Eastern Bartonshire, Perth, anywhere like that, kind of Glasgow and surrounding areas, if you work anywhere that offers any sort of holistic therapies, or if you own a business that does, and you're looking for somebody to come in and do a pop-up, once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, then let me know. I'm looking for places to do some pop-ups. I think I told you I went to go and see one last month, but it wasn't right for me and my business. Nothing wrong with the place at all, it just wasn't suitable for my potential clients. What else have we got going on? I'm looking at my next lot of study sessions, what I'm going to be studying next. Not got a clue what it's going to be. So if there's anything that you would like me to add into my business that I don't already offer, then let me know. I'll have a wee look and see if there's any courses going that I can go on. My filing cabinet, my filing cabinets are busting at the seams, but I can't fit another one in this house because we've got no space as it is. Sorry, I've got a real bad tickle in my throat. So one of the handle type things is popped off. Doesn't stop it from locking or anything like that, it's just annoying. So yeah, that's something else that I need to fix, but that can wait for another day. There was something I wanted to talk about and I really can't remember what it is, and it's really annoying me. Do you ever get that way? My friend Ainsley, I don't know if you remember Ainsley that came on, she became, I don't know if she's calling herself a gran or a nana or whatever, it's a stepdaughter, had a baby. He is absolutely adorable, so congratulations to them. But I think for now that's kind of it. If anybody would like to come on as a guest, if you've got a topic you want to come on and talk about, then feel free to write in, or if you've got a topic you want me to talk about, feel free to write in. If you have any questions or want me to discuss anything, again, just get in touch with me. If you've got a business you would like to advertise on here, or if you would like to sponsor the podcast, then feel free to write in again. And obviously you can have full control over what's said about your business because it's your business and you want to make sure the right word to put across. And that's kind of it, I think, for this episode anyway. I don't really want to take anything away from the actual topic. But again, regardless of what age you are, whether you are the teenager or whether you're the parent of, if anybody would like to speak to myself, or if you feel as if you might want some family counselling or one-to-one counselling, again, doesn't matter where you are in the world, I can offer appointments, because now that we obviously have Zoom and things like that, it's much easier. Zoom, you've got WhatsApp, all these different things. It makes it so much easier to have appointments with somebody you feel you might connect better with that might not be within your area. If you would like to have a wee look at anything else that I offer, then you just need to go onto the website, which is therebootsanctuary.com. And I think I'll leave it at that because I don't really have much else to say. But just everybody, stay calm if you're in that situation that we've just discussed. Everything will be okay. Decisions can chop and change. People can change their mind, but obviously you have a limited time. Then after that, decisions, they have consequences and whatever. But just all be there and be supportive. And listen, let's think of we'll talk about this one another day, but you've got the opposite end of the scale where people are having women are having babies, men are having babies later in life, which is the one thing my son's terrified about, is me having an inverted commas change of life baby. So we'll talk about that another day because people have a lot of opinions about that one too. But for now, let's just concentrate on the teenagers and let's all just be there for each other, be supportive regardless of what the situation is, and let's all stop judging. And Colin, putting more opinions out there that aren't always required. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. If you're a teenager and you are inquisitive about sex and you are trying it, stay safe. And if you do have a little mishap, there is ways to stop pregnancy before it happens. So speak to the right people, whether it's your parent, whether it's a GP, a doctor, whoever it is. Speak to someone, because there's always somebody there willing to help. And there should be another episode tomorrow, but I will update social media and let you all know when the next lot of episodes are out. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your week, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye bye.